Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our next episode of Ink and Paint. We are excited to be here again tonight, and tonight we are talking about Instagram. Is Instagram something you do to enhance your Disney experience? Is it something you don't understand? Is it something that you think is fun? Does it make you crazy? So we're going to talk all about it tonight with our lovely panel of Disney ladies. We are joined tonight by Amy.
Hi, everyone.
And Desi.
Hey, howdy, hey.
And my co-host Ashley.
Hey, everybody.
All right. So I want to start with just kind of go around the room and talk a little bit about, is Instagram something you really do? Do you do it as someone who posts a lot? Do you do it as someone who just likes to look at Instagram? Is Instagram something you maybe don't really care about all that much? So what is your Instagram experience? And then is Disney part of that for you? Amy, I'll kick it over to you first. I'm going to end with Desi because I feel like Desi has the most to say in this department.
I think she does too. I am not an Instagram person. I mean, I'm a YouTube person. I'm a Facebook person. Every time I go onto Instagram, I buy things I don't need, and I try to stay off of it because I can't afford things I don't need. It's a lot of ads. I don't know if that's your experience. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Maybe it's just because I've actually purchased things on the platform in the past that I am heavily marketed to by everybody. Is it just me? I don't know. But I've tried to do Instagram. I've done Instagrams for periods of time, like little brief moments. And I think I have one Disney picture on there. And every time I go in just to kind of scroll and see what other people are up to, I buy 5 things I don't need. So that's my experience with Instagram.
All right. How about you, Ashley?
I try to stay off of it.
So I have an Instagram. I like Instagram. I am woefully lacking in Instagram usage. I was actually looking back for tonight. My last 3 Instagram posts are thumbnails for the show. And then I think I averaged maybe a grand total of 6. We'll say about 6 posts last year, in the entirety of last year. But I do enjoy going on Instagram and looking at, I follow a lot of different, specifically hashtags. And so the feed is always populating with other people's beautiful pictures or information like that. I use it a lot, especially now with the whole pregnancy thing. Different mommy groups and things like that will post useful tips and useful products and things like that. Not so much ads, but just little stores and things like that you can go to find neat products. So I like it. I don't understand it, I think, is my biggest problem. I don't understand. I understand that I follow hashtags. I'm not even sure how I wound up following half of the hashtags that I follow. So that's kind of my experience with Instagram. I like it. I think it's a neat platform. I just don't think I fully understand how to use it.
I probably fall into that too.
Yeah, I think I do as well. So, and Amy, kind of like you, I'm one of those people that I go through Instagram in spurts and especially when I'm down in the parks, I will post a whole bunch on my Instagram. And then I go home and then I forget all about Instagram as someone who posts things. Because I don't know, I guess in my everyday life in Pennsylvania, especially during quarantine, I didn't really feel like there was a lot of interesting things to look at because Instagram is very much a visual platform. I didn't really think there was a whole lot to share. So I was just kind of okay, whatever. And then I'd come to Disney and then I would post a bunch of stuff, maybe one thing a day. And then I go home again and I stop posting. So I guess I don't post a lot. And when I do, it's probably mostly Disney. But and I use Instagram more as an observer. But I don't know. I guess I feel like I get marketed plenty of stuff, but maybe Instagram hasn't figured me out because the stuff I generally get as marketing is not stuff I ever really seem to want to buy. I've almost come close a couple times, but I've never actually impulse bought on Instagram. So I think Instagram needs to figure me out better, and then maybe I'll buy some stuff. But I also don't tend to look at a ton of Disney stuff. Like I tend to follow my friends and look at what they post. I tend to follow stuff that is interesting stuff, that like shows I watch and that kind of thing. Except for obviously I follow WDWNT and friends from WDWNT, and that's kind of the extent of where my Disney Instagram happens. Except when I'm here and I post pictures. But we saved the best for last because Desi is definitely our, on this panel, our resident Disney Instagram kind of guru. So Desi, you tell us what Instagram is all about for you and how you Disney Instagram.
Well, for me, the reason I got into Instagram is because I hated seeing all of the negativity I always see on Twitter. And on Facebook, it's like I don't want to hear anybody's political opinions or anything like that. Like, even if it's somebody I agree with, I'm like, why are you posting that? I don't care. I don't want to read it. It just brings me down when I see people fighting all the time. And Instagram, for me, at least because my entire Instagram experience has been Disney, is just so positive. And I've met so many amazing people through it, and warm, kind-hearted people that I actually talk to my Instagram friends more than my real life friends. So I just think that the Disney Instagram community has just been amazing, and it's pretty much the only reason I go on Instagram is for Disney content. So I only follow Disney people. I mean, of course, I follow a few of my real life friends too, but it's almost all Disney people, whether that be influencers or small shops that sell Disney products like on Etsy. It's where I go as like my escape from the real world. If I don't want to hear about what's going on in the real world, I like to go and just have a completely positive experience where everyone is just posting happy Disney pictures. So
see, I like that idea. Experience. I like that. And it's interesting because I think you're absolutely right. There is a lot of negativity, especially in the Disney Twitter community. I know we touched on a little bit of that last week. And it's interesting because as I was kind of looking around, like I Googled, the question I asked Google was, why do people Instagram? And the positivity aspect of it is exactly what came up, like in just about every article I read. And sometimes that, like, to the point of damaging almost, that like it sets it kind of like, and Facebook I think is the same way to that extent, where it's kind of like you're putting stuff out there that's portraying you in like the best possible light. And so it's creating the illusion that maybe your life is a little bit more polished or storybook, pages of a magazine as opposed to real. But I think that's what people like. To me, I don't know. I don't think that's a problem, because to me, like, Instagram is about looking at things that are pretty and appealing and visually interesting. And so, like, I don't want to see pictures of somebody's bad hair day. I want to see pictures of somebody's good hair day. I don't want to see pictures of your ice cream cone after it melted. I want to see it when it's like fresh and pretty and you're holding it up in front of the castle or whatever.
And it is one of the social media platforms that's really good for curating, because that's what it's meant for.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you get like the best possible aspect. And it's interesting in that respect, because I think what we do as Disney fans is probably like we're acting on Instagram like we're brand ambassadors for Disney in a way, because we're putting out our best possible pictures of the castle or of our meals or of our merchandise, and it's just winds up being kind of like good marketing for Disney that other people
Or the
are out there
purple
looking
wall.
at. Yeah, exactly.
I was just about to say, yeah, I mean, if there's anything that shows, and I will say this, Courtney said it best in the chat just now, Disney or Instagram is absolutely the Disney parks of even social media, because again, it's all positive, it's happy, it's illusion, it's magic. You have the filters and you don't see what's going on just over there. You're only focusing on the pretty part of the picture. But yeah, I mean, if anything else demonstrates how much, Disney understands and Instagram is a positive thing. I mean, again, the purple wall, all the other random walls and things. I mean, they made merch, for crying out loud. Merchandise, legitimate, like not even like one thing, like a line of merchandise dedicated to a wall.
Yeah,
there are many walls.
Maybe Desi, you
Right?
get this, but this is a tangent I definitely want to explore for a second, because what is the deal with the walls? Like, why?
So
They're pretty.
The purple wall started because of where it happens, has incredible lighting. I also do photography on the side, and I can tell you that the way that it's like it's lit right there in front of you, but you aren't in direct sunlight. So you've got the light in front of you, but it's kind of filtered through the shade. So it gives kind of that warm glow. So that's why the purple wall became popular. And then I think just Instagram went crazy and was like, okay, well, the purple wall is a thing at Magic Kingdom. Now we need the moss wall at Animal Kingdom. We need the bubblegum wall and the toothpaste wall at Epcot. I don't know if Hollywood Studios has the popsicle stick wall by the Toy Story Midway Mania. So it just became a thing. The purple wall was literally that, just a blank purple wall. And Disney has since painted it. So now it's called like the Galactic Purple Wall, because it has a more interesting design on it now. But people on Instagram went crazy for these walls. I will say that the purple wall definitely has the best lighting, but the bubblegum wall and the toothpaste wall at Epcot also have similar lighting, so I can see why those. I think that's just because it's got an interesting background. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
So
I don't know.
Is it like a collective vote? Like, who decides these things? Like, again, like the purple wall, you explaining it, that starts to make sense to me. But like and even though moss wall kind of made sense to me, because it's like that is an interesting backdrop. It is. Like, it has kind of a lot going on, but it's also subdued. Like, I understand that one. But like the Epcot walls, like, again, like who decides these things? Because it's just like overnight. Like, boom, it's everywhere, all over Instagram. Right? Like, it just becomes this collective thing that everybody seems to decide all at once, and then it's everywhere on your feed. If you follow anything Disney World related for like a month, everybody is. But it just, again, overnight. Like, that's the kinds of things on Instagram that I don't understand. Like, how does this work? Is there a vote I'm missing somewhere?
FOMO. Like, people see one person do it, and then everybody does it. Like, they put in a Frozen one at Disney Springs a couple of years ago. I think it's still there, and that one, isn't as popular, but it's there and it's meant for Instagram. Clearly,
yeah,
I wonder, did the purple wall start deliberately for Instagram, or were people already using it and then they Instagrammed it?
So the purple wall was definitely the first one, and it was people were going there to take photos because of the lighting. And then I think people who didn't understand that it was because of the lighting thought it was because of the wall itself. And then that is how the whole wall explosion started.
And then they spruced it up, and then they added more because they wanted to encourage it.
And now when you go for like Dapper Day or something, they actually have PhotoPass photographer stationed by the wall.
Wow.
And I will say it's really cute. I will give them that. Like, it's not, I do understand it, but I don't, I'm struggling to understand how these things become a thing
Well, and I
on
think,
Instagram.
yeah, I think it's, and somebody, Penguin Project in chat said, can we talk about how Disney is basically making lands just for influencers now, like Toy Story Land or Avengers Campus, where there's 100,000 things to take photos of and not really anything else. And so I think,
Mm-hmm.
the Purple Wall just existed and people started using it because it had good light and it made for a nice sort of like blank canvas to take a photo in front of. And then when people started doing it and it became a thing, and Disney was like, hey, let's see if we can replicate this other places. Because, kind of to what I was saying earlier, we're now becoming advertisers for Disney through our Instagram, through doing this stuff. So Disney's like, hey, we're getting tons of free advertising on Instagram if we create more things for people to take pictures in front of or take pictures of and post it on their Instagram. And I do think for the average Instagrammer, it's kind of like a FOMO thing. Like, oh, everyone else took a picture of this thing. I know I'm guilty of that. Like, I've seen it where it's like,
Oh, yeah.
there's that thing that everyone else has a picture of. I guess I need to take one too, because I'm going to regret it if I don't later. And in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't cost you anything to stop for 2 minutes and take a picture of something in the parks. But at the same time, like, now Disney's catering to that. And I do think that's absolutely true, that there's, again, Toy Story Land, there's a ton of great stuff to take pictures of, but in the grand scheme of things, there's not that much to do. And even Galaxy's Edge is kind of like that too. You've got this massive land. I don't understand Galaxy's Edge in the sense that, like, you can walk and walk and walk, and it takes you, it's a big land, but there's only 2 attractions. Even like the shops and stuff, like the whole time you get out of that tunnel off of Grand Avenue until you get back to the marketplace, there's kind of nothing there, but there's stuff to take pictures of. There's ships, there's, the Coke cart with the droid. So I think Disney is, basically kind of creating stuff in what they're building now so that people do take pictures of it. Like, they're trying to create it, and I think it's just like any other brand. They try to create viral videos on YouTube. They try to use social media and make it feel like it's organic when actually they're trying to plant the seeds of something like that happening.
Well, look at all the
I've
cupcakes.
been asked,
Though, I mean, Disney has always, in a way and in a sense, been guilty of that. I mean, the color theory has kind of always been their thing. I mean, that's why the sidewalks were the color that they are. The reddish brick, like, they did studies to show what would work best with taking pictures of the castle. Like, I don't know if it's necessarily, I think they've gotten worse because of things like Instagram, where they're solely only focused on taking pictures. But at the same time, like, you want things that are aesthetically pleasing. You want your pictures on vacation to turn out well. I don't know that that's a bad thing.
Well, that's why you pay $12 for a cupcake, is so that you can get a picture of it. And, I mean, it's probably not $12; it's less than that. But they're really pretty, and they are works of art. But they create these desserts, in particular, desserts, cakes, cupcakes, Dole Whip things, because they're Instagrammable. I mean, maybe they don't taste that good, but they have like a carriage on them or a slipper on them and lots of glitter, and they're iridescent if you turn them. So they're always creating these new things so that there's new things for people that, and here's where it, to me, we always get, not on this show, but on other shows, we get on tangents about how they don't really care about pass holders, but they do. They care about pass holders, because if they didn't, they wouldn't keep creating these new things, because the people that are there all the time to post them are people like us. And I haven't been there in a while, but I live far away. But they do. I mean, they know that we're going to Instagram it if there's a new something that we can Instagram.
Yeah,
Right.
I get asked all the time, does Disney pay you to take these photos and post them on your Instagram? And I'm like, no, I just do it because I enjoy going to Disney and taking pictures. So it's free advertising for them. And more than that, they're getting paid to have the free advertising because I'm paying them for that cupcake or, whatever else. Even if I go and my intent is just to take photos, like for Dapper Day, I'll go and do nothing but take photos. Obviously, I'm still buying food while I'm there. I'm probably buying merchandise too. So they are making money and getting free advertising at the same time.
Well, and do you think that I would argue, and maybe this is an argument for Disney to bring back annual pass holders and to give more respect to annual pass holders, to reinstitute real annual passes in Disneyland, for example, because I think there is very much an intangible marketing value that we bring to the table, that if you are a family of 4 and you are going to Disney for a week for once in 5 years, once in 10 years, for the first time ever, once in a lifetime trip, you are not spending your time in Disney World running around Instagramming stuff. You're spending your time, those are the people that are rope dropping and going till they drop because they're trying to squeeze every bit of Disney into their trip they can. They are not the people that are out there Instagramming and giving Disney all this free marketing through all of social media.
And I think you're absolutely onto something, Jill, because again, no, they're not the ones who are out there Instagramming, but you know what they're doing before they go on their trip? They're going to places like Instagram to figure out what to do and what's cool and what is there to see.
And whose Instagrams are they looking at? People like ours.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, yeah, I think, I don't know. I'm very conflicted about how Disney handles the whole Instagram thing, because on the one hand, I will reiterate again, I do not understand it. I think it's great for the people like Desi that do and have fun with it. I don't begrudge them anything. I think, again, you enjoy the parks how you enjoy the parks, but I don't know. Like, again, I see the points of, you want people to have a good time, you want them to enjoy, you take pictures, but I question how much Disney should actually cater to them. I don't know. Like, again, like the whole purple wall is great. Having photo pass people there, though, like that to me just seems a bit much. Like,
they're not there all the time.
Just let people do it organically. Like, have fun with it. Like, I don't know. I think I feel like they're using influencers and things like that in an unfair way when they're doing things just specifically to draw them in, but not actually giving them. I think
they absolutely are. Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's fair at all to those people.
Well, we could have a long conversation about what Disney does to fans that is not fair, and yet for whatever reasons, we keep coming back over and over again.
We're in a beautiful relationship with Disney. That's all there is to it.
So true. That's so true. It is definitely dysfunctional. All right, I want to take a minute here in the conversation, and sorry, Ashley, I'm just going to jump over, and I wanted to, so we asked all of our ink and paint ladies, not just the ones here tonight, but all the rest who are sort of on our roster of panelists, for some people to share their very first Disney Instagram pictures. So I want to go ahead and pull these up because I think they're fun. And I'm going to start with yours, Desi, because yours came up first in the roll. But you shared this was the very first Disney picture that you Instagrammed.
Yes, and it's still my Instagram profile picture today. And we shared it last time too, but I just love it. Stitch is my favorite, and I just can't get enough of him. So I don't want to talk about it too much because I know we talked about it last time. It's my favorite.
All right. And then we have Emma, who many of you in the audience probably know from Pressing Issues, and she's been on Park Center quite a few times. So Emma sent us 2 posts. Emma has both a personal Twitter or a personal Instagram and her own Disney Instagram. And so I asked her to send us her first pictures from both, but then I also asked her to share a little bit about why it is that she has 2 separate Instagrams. So this is her her wayfinding with Emma Instagram, and this was so this is her Disney only Instagram, and this was her very first post. And then this was her very first Disney post on her personal Instagram. But so here's what Emma had to say about why she has a separate Disney Instagram. I created a separate Disney Instagram for two reasons. The first is because of online branding. As an actor, it's very important to have a social media presence, and my social media has to be curated in a certain way. In college, I was taught to focus on posting industry-related things. That way, if someone asked me for my social media information, they could see what I've been working on. Some personal things can be posted, but I was told that theater-related things needed to be the focus. Because of that, I was afraid to post too many Disney things on my personal Instagram, which made me sad because I love taking pictures whenever I travel, especially going to a Disney resort. So I finally decided to just create a separate page so I could share all of those things without changing my online brand as an actor. The second is how much fun the Disney Instagram community is, which is what you were talking about as well, Desi. Emma says, I created my Disney account right at the beginning of 2020 since I knew we would be taking a trip in March of that year. However, this little thing called the pandemic happened, so obviously that trip didn't happen either. Not only that, but the show I was in also got canceled and two studios I worked for fully closed rather than moving online. Because of that, I got really sad and depressed, not to mention all of the unhelpful panic and noise from the news that stressed me out even more. I thought about deleting my account since I had not posted much, but I decided to keep at it because of the community. Everyone is really supportive of one another, and it's fun to see the things that other people are posting. It provided a nice distraction and cheered me up when I needed it. Honestly, connecting with other Disney-minded people online through Instagram and the WDWNT live streams were what got me through quarantine. You guys are my kind of people, which is why I'm still here and have become even more involved with this community today. So I loved that story because it's, I think there's definitely a point, and I'm sure there are people in the audience who have felt this, where, your social media can be a challenge for kind of your professional presentation. And so Emma chose to create a separate Instagram so that she could kind of do what she loved and then still be sort of respectful of her personal brand. And I know we have some other ladies on the team who have done similar things as well. So I'll cut back over and go through the rest of these pictures. So this was my first Disney Instagram photo. I wasn't, this is from 2018, and I was still kind of not really much into posting Instagram at the time. But I had been here, I believe this was for our Rex the Halls event, and I wound up in Epcot with Tom, and they had two new holiday cupcakes at Sunshine Seasons at the Land. And so, of course, we had to get them and review them for the website. As you all know, we are cupcake reviewers. But so this was my first Disney Instagram post was cupcakes, which
it's very appropriate that it's cupcakes.
Exactly. And then this is Marcy, who you may know from, she's been a part of WDWNT for a long time and has been on the podcast, has been on News Tonight. So this is Marcy's first ever Disney Instagram post. Clearly she's really good at it. She's got the monorail, she's got Epcot there, all the flowers blooming. Very nice. And then this is from Shannon. This was Shannon's first photo. Which I love because Shannon has been on Instagramming long enough to have been able to Instagram Pleasure Island, which I think is a feat in and of itself. But it's kind of fun to look at what it is that, people started posting on Instagram when they first got into it, and then kind of how far they've evolved from there.
I haven't evolved at all. I still take pictures with it and go Disney bounding.
I just take a picture once in a while and then forget Instagram exists as far as posting, and then don't do anything. I don't know why.
I'll agree with Jill there. It's definitely something more vacation related for me, I feel like, or when something big happens.
Yeah.
Well, in the vein of Disney bounding, I'm going to flip over to a couple of pictures, starting with ones that Desi sent again. Because the other thing I've noticed is that, there's all these sort of categories of what people Instagram. So there are people that Disney bound, and that's a huge thing. There are people that take pics of merchandise, and that's a big thing. There are people that take pics of food. So like there are sort of these almost like subcultures now of what people Instagram. And it's interesting to see. So Desi, I'd love to kind of hear what your sort of flavor of Instagram is. But I'll flip over, and you guys may recognize this picture from the thumbnail image for the video. But this is you looking super bad, wielding the Kylo Ren lightsaber. And I've noticed that Star Wars is a thing. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, well, specifically Ben Solo, but
yes,
when I went to go visit Kylo, I had this outfit on, and the cast member there was like, "Let me get a photo of you," and she like posed me like this and gave me the lightsaber and let me take this photo, and I just loved it. It cracked me up.
So
I didn't even intend to take a photo like that day, but the cast member took me to the side just because of the outfit. No, I wish.
You look like a dancer. Like in that picture with Stitch, you were pointing your toe, and now you have like the line, the arm line. Like you look like a dancer.
I am 0% coordinated. Emma is definitely the dancer of the group here.
You look very coordinated.
No, I will say that the cast member helped me pose for this.
Well, you definitely strike a good pose.
Fun. Yeah, you do. And it looks very natural. It does.
All right, I'm going to flip to the next one here. I'm going to try to. There we go. Again, super bad.
This was Star Wars Galactic Nights. So It was before Galaxy's Edge was open. But after they had stopped the Star Wars summers, they had it was an extra ticketed event, kind of similar to an after hours, like, the Halloween parties or the Christmas parties, but this was a specific Star Wars party. And so I got to sit in the Emperor's chair, and I Disney bounded as a female Kylo Ren.
Very nice.
Like I said, Ben Solo is my favorite Star Wars character.
As well he should be. All right.
I can't help myself. I'm a sucker for a redeemed villain storyline. So Regina from Once Upon a Time is another favorite character.
All right, let's see if we can get to the next pick there we go. Oh, skipped one too far.
Oh, well, that was the same night. That was also Galactic Nights. But the next one was Dapper Day. Also, one more thing about Galactic Nights is that I Disney bounded as Kylo Ren. I could not convince my husband to do a male Rey. So I'm still upset with him about that.
Well, that could be, I would actually love to see that. I think that could be super interesting.
I would love to see it too.
All right.
And then for Dapper Day, I was Rey. So I had to get a picture with my boyfriend, even though my husband was also standing there off to the side.
Oh, I will fight you for him, Desi. I will. But I love that you are dressed as like it's Rey, but it's like almost like it's borderline Disney bounding, because it's not like you're trying to authentically replicate the costume. You're like doing a little flavor on it where it looks dressier and fancier, and the red high heels are like this amazing touch. I love it.
Did you walk around the park wearing those?
No,
that's a
secret. I walked around the park in flip-flops, and I carried the heels in my bag.
That's why I was asking, because I was thinking it would be painful.
But I was also pregnant at the time, so the scarves also helped to hide that.
Ah.
Very cool.
Creative.
Yeah. All right, and then we have one from Emma, because I wanted to share other people's Galaxy's Edge and Star Wars Instagram photos. So Emma's dual wielding here in front of the Millennium Falcon, which is very nice. And then I threw in one of mine as well, even though it's a terrible picture of me. My first trip to Oga's Cantina, I had to do a selfie in front of DJ Rex with my WDWNT bucket hat. So definitely Star Wars in general, lightsabers, Galaxy's Edge, all incredibly Instagrammable. Every time I go into Rise of the Resistance, I wind up taking a picture of the wall of stormtroopers, and I absolutely have to post it to my Instagram. There are probably like 3 photos of that on my Instagram, even though I don't post all that often.
It's so impressive, though. It's hard
It
not
seriously
to.
is. Yeah. It's absolutely hard not to like what like and I guess maybe that's part of it. Like to me that's what I like to Instagram to a good extent, especially when I'm in the parks, is like if it makes me like stop and like gasp or like otherwise visually be like stunned by it, then that's what I want to Instagram.
Absolutely.
See, I think to take pictures, and I have all these pictures, but I never posted them. Like,
Yeah, it's like this weird extra step of like going like you take the pictures, and I do plenty of that. I do plenty of, taking pictures in when I'm in the parks. It's just that step of then like putting them on Instagram. I don't always do, and I don't know why. I guess I just don't really think about it.
no, I think you have to be part of Instagram culture where you do it all the time. And then you just take a picture, or maybe, see, this is how bad I am. Can you take one and just post it like in Instagram? Probably. I don't know. But I never think to do that. I'm just like, take the picture and move on. And then sometimes when I come back from somewhere, I'll post like 15 pictures at once, which of course you're not supposed to do. But, I don't care. It's my own Instagram. It's just, it's not real. I never looked at it as important to anyone but me and like the people that I know. And I just figured posting a lot of stuff would just be like overkill. But I wasn't looking at it like an influencer thing or a brand thing.
For me, I was already Disney bounding before I got the Instagram. So I think maybe being on Instagram makes me feel more normal, because there's other people who are like, oh, wow, those pictures are so cool. Whereas if I showed them to my real life friends, they're like, why are you so weird? Why are you dressing up like a Disney character?
Yeah.
I will say there is one thing that I do on Instagram, and where I appreciate the fact that the Instagram community will accept it, whereas I wouldn't show these pictures to my friends because they'd think I was a total nerd. And that is, I have this penchant, as especially our WIGS members and those out there who watch Park Center know, I am super into wishables. And so I have a tendency to take a lot of pictures of wishables everywhere, in the parks, not in the parks.
See, those are cute.
So
see, that's something I don't get. I don't get wishables.
Maybe we can do an entire show on that, and I'll explain.
I don't get it. I'm trying to understand it, but I don't get it. So I'd love to see a show on that.
Those I totally get. I can't start collecting them because I don't have the budget, unfortunately, but I do get it. I'm still staring at a shelf full of Vinomation from back in the day. So I totally get why they're a thing. They're really cute.
It's the same thing. And there were 3 different, these are the little Frushies. There were 3 different Frushies. So I had to buy like 6 of them to make sure I got one of each because they're blind bag. Anyway, that's for a different show. But I do that. And I take pictures of plush. So then I watch Soul, and I love Soul. So I had to get both Mr. Whiskers and take pictures. And then this was actually my first Disney Plush Instagram because I got all 4 park icon wishables and I got super excited. And again, like Instagram is the only place that I could share that with people. I got the
So I should have
Figment
Instagrammed my Cinderella Coach purses when I got them.
Yes.
Oh,
And here's the thing, Amy, it's not too
I
late.
should have.
You can
No,
go
it's
back.
not. They're still in they're still in the bag with the tags on. I haven't used them yet.
Yeah. No, you absolutely should. And then my last one, I got both
I just don't
Dante's
think
from the
of
Coco
doing
set.
stuff like that.
And I guess like
Cute.
I did it because like getting like the Dante's, for example, there's 2 variants, and so you don't know which one you're going to get, and you want to get both. And so when I got both, I got super excited. Again, it's that thing where it's like something that excites you, or otherwise like you're happy about, and Instagram is a way to kind of be able to share that with other people. And I guess that's kind of a little bit how I look at it. When I'm posting weird stuff like that on Instagram.
So I'm going to post my weird Cinderella purse when we're done. I'm going to post it and see what happens.
kind of like we were talking about last week about being judged for being a Disney fan. I'm never judged for being a Disney fan on Instagram because I'm just surrounded by other people who are just as crazy as I am.
Yeah, and I guess that's the thing, like how you were talking about there's no negativity there. Like I think if you posted that exact same stuff on Twitter, there are people on Twitter who would give you attitude about it. But like
especially the Ray and Kylo.
Yeah. But like people on Instagram don't bring the venom the way that people on Twitter seem to. And I don't know why that is, but I don't ever want that to change because
Twitter
it's really
is an angry place. It's angry on Twitter.
Twitter is
and sometimes YouTube is angry too. I just have to block people on my YouTube because it can be people just post nasty things. But I haven't had that experience. I mean, I'm not on Instagram that much, but I haven't had that experience on Instagram. But I've had that on Facebook, I've had it on Twitter, and I've had it on YouTube too.
Yeah. Instagram is the one place I don't think I've never had hate from anyone.
I never thought about it before. Now you guys are turning me on to Instagram. I'm going to be like,
I was going to say, like,
happy fairy place.
We're going to make a convert out of you.
Maybe we could be.
So
now I'm going to have to think of happy things.
I was going to say, so something, I kind of mentioned it in the beginning when I was talking about my use of Instagram, and again, question for you, Desi, how do the hashtags work? How do you decide on hashtags? How many hashtags is too many hashtags? Because like I see some people and it's like, there's like 100 of them. And I get it.
There's a maximum.
Oh, there is a maximum.
There's a maximum of 30. Yeah.
Of 30.
That's a lot, though. 30 is a lot.
But like,
it is.
But how do you decide on what hashtags to like? Is the purpose of it just because people follow the hashtags, and so then it helps you show up on people's feed? I'm assuming that's the ultimate goal. But like, how do you decide?
So, I mean, I almost always use the same hashtags, like hashtag Walt Disney World, hashtag Disney World, and hashtag WDW. Just so that if anybody is searching for any of those tags, I would hopefully show up. And then sometimes it's also based on what I post. So if I were, like when I was at Aulani, I would post like Kama Aina, which means local, which isn't something I would ever post while I was at Disney, unless I was like eating at Ohana and wanted to post a picture and do hashtag Kama Aina. But it all kind of depends on what I'm posting, but hoping to find like-minded people, I guess, which is what I've done.
Is that the point of hashtags, is for people who don't follow you to be able to find you, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I was poking around and I think I read some article that was, HubSpot statistics on Instagram, and the average number of hashtags on an Instagram post is 10.7, which I think is an obscene amount. Like that's a lot of hashtags. But like I also see, and I won't throw anybody under the bus, but it's someone I know through WWNT that like when I look at this person's Instagram, it's like there's a wall of hashtags this high, and it's just kind of like what, like I don't know. I find it distracting. Like I don't like looking at that many hashtags, but maybe that's just me, I guess.
Isn't that the purpose of like the 3 dots, right? To like bump it down so you don't necessarily so you'd have to hit more to see the hashtags.
That's what I do is I have my caption at the top and then like I enter a few times and then put the hashtags so that people don't see the hashtags when they're just scrolling through.
Yeah.
Other interesting.
I forget. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce your name, friend. But Chief Leaf, we'll go with that. I'm sorry. Said they got 11 new followers this week just from hashtags. So I guess it does work.
I think I follow Leaf on Instagram. So there you go. I know for sure on Twitter.
He is a WDWNT regular for sure. Yes. The other interesting statistic, and it's funny because actually when you asked the question about hashtags, someone was like, that's such an old person question, which, I have the same question. So maybe it is. But the other statistic I read was that 70% of Instagram users are under the age of 35. So I
believe that.
There's something to that, but it's kind of like Instagram is a young person's game, I guess.
I'm going to let people think that.
I mean, I think, I don't know, I'm 46, so like, I don't get it. And before I do what I do now, I used to do marketing as my job, but I did marketing for an engineering nonprofit, that really our audience was not on Instagram. So that wasn't really my area. But, over 45, I don't really understand Instagram. I'm not opposed to it. I don't like reels and stories. I don't get that stuff at all. Like I can post pictures.
Can we talk about stories? Can someone explain to me the purpose of stories? Speaking of old person questions, I've never used one. I don't get it.
I don't either.
I don't get it.
I post stories like in real time when I'm at the parks because usually I only post on Instagram like once a week. But if I'm at the park, then I'll post like 30 photos in a row or 30 videos just because I happen to be there. And if anybody wants to follow along with me live. Otherwise, sometimes I'll give like shout outs to other small shops or other Instagrammers on my stories that I wouldn't necessarily always do on like a main post. So that's how I use stories.
The thing that I read that helped me understand stories is that stories are stuff you post that disappears after 24 hours. So like
it's
if I go back
Snapchat. Yeah, it's a Snapchat or Instagram.
When I look at my account, I see all the actual regular posts I've made. So it's almost like a little photo album for me of everything I've ever Instagrammed. But stories don't go into your regular Instagram sort of photo library. I don't know if there's a term for it. So it's kind of like stuff that you just want to put up there and then it goes away. And that was like the first time I actually kind of had some real idea was earlier this afternoon that I kind of understood what stories are for.
And are reels and stories the same thing, or are they totally different?
So if stories are like the Snapchat for Instagram, reels would be kind of like the TikTok for Instagram. And I never use TikTok, so I never use reels.
I definitely have not used TikTok.
Well, coming up at the end of the show, TikTok, I feel like if the average age for Instagram or 70% of people on Instagram are under 35, then 70% of people on TikTok are under 25. But Emma actually shared some TikTok meme videos she's made that I will save for the end of the show. We'll talk a little bit more about TikTok at the end of the show. But they're so funny. So stay tuned for that. But for now, we are going to take our slightly past mid-show break. Give everybody a few minutes to regroup. What I do want to do before we go to commercial is share our next episode is June 17th. So we're every other Thursday. And our next episode is on cocktails and mocktails on Disney property. So I'm super excited about this because hitting the lounges around property is one of my favorite things to do, especially being sort of that annual pass holder who is around a little bit more often and can enjoy some of the non-parks things that Disney World has to offer. But we absolutely want to hear other people's opinions about where they love to go. What's your favorite lounge? Why is it your favorite lounge? Is it Nomad? I know the ambiance at Nomad is fantastic. Is it something more like Enchanted Rose? You've got that sort of really sophisticated vibe there. Where is it that you like to hang out? And what is your favorite drink when you get there? So please do email us at inkandpaint@wdwnt.com and share what your favorite things are. If you have pics, please send those. We will be happy to share your pictures on the show, on the next episode as well. So we are excited to talk about that because definitely one of my favorite pastimes. And with that, we will throw it to commercial and we will be back in a couple of minutes. Thanks everybody for joining us tonight.
Introducing WDWNT Entertainment, the new home for your favorite WDWNT shows, including Geekly Kingdom, a nerdy talk show with discussions, games, and interactive trivia. Deep in the Plus, diving into and reviewing the catalog available on Disney+. Cosmic Read Live, a show talking music, merchandise, vacation memories, and Imagineering attractions. WDWNT The RPG, a tabletop-style role-playing game like D&D but set in the parks. Ride Rehab, a satirical show of fixing attractions or ruining them even more. And many new and exciting programs to come. Subscribe now at youtube.com/WDWNT Entertainment.
WDWNT presents Timekeeping, a year-by-year journey through the history of the vacation kingdom of the world. Join us for the premiere Tuesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern or watch on demand anytime on the WDW News Today YouTube channel.
Pressing Issues is the spin-off of the WDW News Today podcast segment as a long-form panel discussion in which some of the brightest minds of WDWNT analyze the biggest stories of the week and their impact on the Walt Disney Company, its parks, guests, and cast members. Join us every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, or afterward on the WDW News Today podcast feed.
Get $10. $10.
Alexander Hamilton.
I could just leave that out front of my house to send a message to the other alligators in my neighborhood.
Or the boss.
All right, welcome back, everyone. And I want to give a little extra plug for Outside the Bubble coming up next at 9 p.m. They are tonight basically creating their own world showcase experiences outside the bubble. So going to like English pubs and trying to basically find other experiences in Orlando that are in some way, shape, or form trying to replicate the experience you get in World Showcase at Epcot. It should be a lot of fun. I'm sure Pete will drink something, and I'm sure we will all laugh a lot. So don't forget to join the guys at 9 o'clock right after our show ends. So with that, I want to show a few more of your pictures, Desi, ending with one of your son and then you can share with us kind of your story, getting back to this whole idea of the Instagram Disney community and the kinds of relationships that you've built and what they've done for you. I'd love for you to tell that story. But first, I want you to explain this one because where are you in this picture?
I'm in Egypt, and
wow.
Yes, I'm wearing mouse ears. I'm pretty sure that I'm the only person to ever wear mouse ears to visit the pyramids, but I mean, where else am I going to wear my Princess Jasmine mouse ears? It just seemed to make sense.
I mean, if you're going to wear mouse ears in Egypt, those are the ones to wear.
I have also, speaking of trying to find a World Showcase outside the bubble, I have picked a lot of my vacation spots based on World Showcase. So I've also been to Morocco and worn my Princess Jasmine mouse ears there, only because my husband gave me a choice of 2 different places we could go to. And I picked Morocco only because it was in World Showcase. And I'm like, well, I want to see the real one.
Nice.
He's a travel agent, FYI. So it's not.
To me, that's part of the beauty of Epcot is it makes you want to then visit the actual country. But here's another same flavor kind of question.
Yes, so
this is so cute.
That is at the Munich Oktoberfest, and nice. Of course, I had to wear my German mouse ears there. So the previous ones were like an Etsy pair of Jasmine ears, but this was actually from the German pavilion at World Showcase. I think that I had seen those mouse ears before and thought, when is anybody ever going to wear these? And then when we booked our trip to Germany, I was like, well, now I have to buy these so that I can wear them in Germany. And that's not my natural hair color, in case you're wondering.
And then last but not least, this incredibly adorable guy. So tell us about this and Instagram.
Yes. So my older son, when he was 2 months old, was diagnosed with a rare liver disease called biliary atresia. He had to have his gallbladder removed. There is basically an 80% chance of kids who get this disease that they will need a liver transplant at some point in their lives. Wow. We are hoping that having the gallbladder removed will help the flow from his liver so that we don't need to have that liver transplant. Obviously, when COVID happened, we were very worried, and we talked with his doctors, and including his transplant doctor, who we see fairly regularly, even though he hasn't had the transplant yet. But thankfully, because of the protocols Disney had in place, we got the green light to take him. So this was obviously a very hard time in our lives when he was so little and had to be in the hospital and go through so much for so long. And I think I mentioned earlier that I talk to my Instagram friends almost more often than I talk to my quote unquote real life friends. Just because, they get me. They don't judge me for being crazy. And the whole Disney thing. And when he was in the hospital for so long, obviously I was leaning on them and talking to them about, what was going on. And a bunch of them rallied together and they sent him that stitch, which is why I had the picture of it on my Instagram. And they also got together and, helped donate to help with his medical bills, which is just incredible. And I don't know how I could ever thank them enough for that, and just all of these women that I met through Instagram, and most of them I've never met in real life, did that for us, and I can't believe how blessed I am to find that Disney Instagram community.
That's amazing. And it's so like it's so I don't know. I'm a person who kind of feels like social media can sort of be, the devil, and it's dragging society down by the way that people kind of forget one another's humanity when they interact on social media. And so it's so like redeeming and gratifying to hear a story of social media, like bringing out the best in people, absolutely bringing out the best in people, and people being able to find connection via social media as opposed to using it as a sort of weapon to drive more wedges between people. Because I think that that is something that, it's nice to see something like that bring, like I said, bring out the best in people, and really be able to help one another and find, be able to find that. And it's there are definitely tools out there, like even like stuff like GoFundMe, and obviously there are people who are abuses of that too, but that they can help one another and share stories and reach out. I really appreciate that.
It was when I knew that we were talking about Instagram, I couldn't not bring up what a wonderful group of people I've met through that platform.
That's awesome.
Desi's inspiring me to use my Instagram more. You are.
Well, I already follow you on Instagram, so I like looking at the ice
I don't
skating
post
photos.
much, though. I'll have to post more just for you.
Okay.
So the other thing I wanted to share in this episode, I asked a bunch of our Ink and Paint ladies to share what some of their favorite Instagram accounts are, to kind of take a look at the broad range of what we all look at on Instagram, not what we post ourselves, but what we go to Instagram and look at other people's accounts for. And so I'm going to do a shameless plug right here and pull up the WDWNT Instagram, because honestly, in the grand scheme of life, this is like the pretty much the main Instagram that I follow in terms of Disney. Like, I don't honestly really follow a whole lot of other Disney Instagrams other than ours. I think we do a really nice job with it. It's what I want out of a Disney Instagram, which is pretty pictures. You've got Dole Whip and merch and all that, but it also keeps you kind of up to date on what's happening in the parks. What's the latest mouse ears that are for sale, what's reopening, what's changing, what's the newest Magic Band, all that stuff. What's the newest donut at Everglazed? And that's what I want out of a Disney Instagram. So I really appreciate that. But we have some others here as well. Desi, this is one that you shared with us. This is a friend of yours, correct?
Yes. So this is a girl that I met when we both kind of started out on Instagram, and we happened to be brand reps for the same t-shirt company. And we got to be friends that way. And I talk to her almost every single day now. And I've even visited her in Hawaii a couple of times. She lives in Hawaii, but she was also a Disneyland pass holder when they had those. So she was going to Disneyland in California all the time, but she's, yeah. But, being in Hawaii, she's strategically placed between California and Tokyo. So she went to Disneyland and Disneyland Tokyo often when they were open and when they allowed pass holders. But she's also in Hawaii right now, so she gets to go to Aulani all the time.
Well, that's awesome. I want to go to Alani all the time. I just want to live in Hawaii. I think that would be pretty.
I took that
shouldn't say
picture
that.
of her family with Minnie and Daisy in the background because she came to see us when we were staying at Alani.
Aw. So you are now part of her Instagram.
Yes.
All right. Here's another favorite, and I know one of our team shared this, but I do actually. This is one of the other Instagrams that I do actually follow because I think it's hilarious. And I guess the reason, this is WDW bathroom, so it's literally pictures inside of bathrooms in Walt Disney World. But I appreciate this one because to me, this is like a game of trying to guess where the bathroom is. And it's like a test of how good of a Disney fan are you, because can you identify the bathrooms? And I tend to fail miserably. I mean, obviously you've got, the tangled toilets.
I know the top middle is Grand Destino.
Oh, very nice. So maybe that can be a quiz for coming to work at WDWNT is, can you identify the bathrooms on this Instagram feed? But it's just fun. And to me, this is, I enjoy it because it's, I like looking for things that kind of show a different side of Disney. That, it's not just the same typical park pictures or whatever. It's something new and different. And so I think this is kind of like a unique eye on what Walt Disney World is. This next one is one that Emma shared with us. This is her favorite Disney bounding Instagram account.
I follow her too.
Yeah,
she's
and
great.
I think this is she Disney bound,
wow.
It's not Disney bounding. Is it? What do you call it when
it is Disney bounding?
But what do you call it when it's not
Disney?
Like if she's like the Brokeback Mountain one, for example, like that's not Disney. So what do you call that when she's,
I don't know.
I don't know, but it's amazing. Bounding. I mean,
but
those are
really cool.
These are so good. And like, I love that she does things that aren't like typical Disney. Like she does a lot of Disney Channel stuff.
Oh, the Indiana Jones one. That's so cute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm not a Disney bounder, so this isn't really my thing, but like I appreciate this because I think it's a lot of fun and shows a lot of it's artistry, like you're putting together not just the look, but the makeup, the jewelry. She's got all these backgrounds in her pictures. I think it's really cool.
It is cool. Real quick before we move on, Dawn, thank you so much for your super chat. She's super chatted us $10 and said, "Great show tonight, ladies." Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dawn. You are fantastic. Dawn is one of another one of our regular viewers who is always so generous to us. That's fantastic. But yeah, so Desi, you're a Disney bounder. Is that like? Do you Instagram every time you Disney bound? Do you Disney bound because you want to be able to Instagram? Like, how are those things related for you?
I was Disney bounding before I was Instagramming. But Instagram is just a way to make me feel more validated, I guess.
Okay,
and
totally fair.
Not like I'm crazy. Because I would take photos before I had an Instagram and post them to my Facebook, and I think sometimes I would get some snarky comments of, you're an adult, why are you doing that?
See, clearly, again, just converting me again. Clearly, I just need to go to Instagram because I'm not gonna get.
I think this is what we all need.
An influencer for Instagram. Seriously, they should hire Desi to be an influencer for the platform.
But let's talk about that for a hot second, because the other thing that happens to Desi that she shared with us is that Disney Instagrammers and Disney product shop owners, like Etsy shops and stuff, send Desi their merchandise for her to go take pictures in the park. So tell us how that started happening.
I think the first time that happened, I was shocked. Like, wow, somebody's going to send me a pair of mouse ears? Wow, that's awesome. And I think I had like 1,000 followers at the time, and I thought I was a big deal. Um, but it's just been a really great way to meet friends, honestly. One of my best friends now, Joy, has sent me the majority of my mouse ears now have come from her. And I've met her in the parks multiple times now. When I went to Galactic Nights, she came as well. And it's just I love meeting small shops. I love supporting small business. So even though, yes, I'm giving Disney, which is a big corporation, my money every time I go, even though people like to send me stuff, I also typically buy from them too. So it's not just, getting free stuff. It's also building the friendships and supporting them as well.
So is it All Ears that is the shop where you get your ears? All right, I have that pulled up as well. I'll share that. These are really pretty. I'm not an ears person, but some of these are super cool.
Yeah, so that's her picture from when we went to Galactic Nights together.
Very cool.
But her ears, like the quality, are really nice.
Yeah, so, which, unlike Disney, their quality of their ears is kind of trash.
Oh, hey, that's me. That was,
there you go.
So,
that was when I went to Super Bowl.
Jersey. But I do have a question. Talking about plugging her ears, how do they compare? Because the one biggest complaint that I have about Disney ears, and again, this is way off topic from Instagram, but is that they're so tight on your head, and they like pinch your temples after a while and give you a headache. How do those compare? Are they like more like a headband?
Her ears, so
like that they don't pinch your head.
Her ears,
like I'm genuinely curious.
Fit my head better than the Disney ones do, and they have like the teeth in there, so they stick into my hair.
They don't have to sit snugly.
Yeah.
So these the Disney ears ones they pinch my head and they give me a headache.
Yeah, that's what I find too.
These ears I love because they say my name on them. They say Disney Desi, which is my Instagram handle. So when somebody who had like a 3D ear shop reached out to me and asked what I wanted on them, I was like, "Can you just make my Instagram handle?" And she did. So that was awesome. But I mean, some shops do have like smaller headbands, and they aren't quite as comfortable. So, I don't want to knock her because she gave me a free pair of 3D printed mouse ears with my name on it. But, some ears are just like tighter and not as comfortable. But they're super awesome.
They're still really pretty and still definitely higher quality. I'm genuinely curious for purchasing ears in the future because
Disney ears tend to be heavy too.
Quality is not
they
there.
are.
But if I could find, if I could have a shop like that does cute, high quality ears that are also more comfortable, that's a plus.
I would say that these ears are definitely
genuinely curious.
The Disney ears that have glitter on them, when they put the glitter on the headband itself, it scratches like behind my ear. I think but I think it depends on everybody's head is different. So I think it depends. Like
it's true. Well, and I feel like too the Disney ears because they range. I mean, again, they know adults buy them, but let's face it, they're not truly making them for adults. I mean, they are, but they aren't because again, Instagram is a thing and people look cute Instagramming themselves in Disney ears, but they also have to fit children. So they're like this weird in-between size, the Disney ears.
Yeah, my struggle is I have a giant head. For those of you who know and have seen my brother, he has a super giant head. And it runs in the family.
That part's true.
It is a Diffendahl trait. So Chief Leaf asking in chat, how many ears did Jason have? He doesn't actually have any. They would cut off the circulation to his brain if he wore them for much longer. He never won them one shows. I don't, and that's why I don't buy a lot either. Like I would love to find an Instagram shop that like specifically makes larger headbands so
Like
that I can
adult
wear
ears.
yeah, without feeling
Yeah.
like my it's pinching my head.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me.
Like I last maybe a solid 2 hours. Like I'll carry them around and put them back on for pictures.
Yeah.
But I think 2 hours is the max that I've ever legitimately like worn them around the parks.
And then
Yep,
I have a
exactly.
dent in my hair from the
Mm-hmm.
weight of them.
I
Yeah, the
have
Disney ears are
worn
definitely heavy.
the Disney ears, and like I get such a headache because they're squeezing my head.
Yeah,
but
because it's
I've
right
never,
there at your
Yeah.
temple. But
Yeah.
I've never. I mean, I've like forgotten that I've had these ears on before.
Very
ooh,
nice.
good to know.
Well, I did want to
So-
share one other Instagram account that I think this one came from you as well, Desi. That's a shop, and don't tell anyone that I'm sharing a shop that does T-shirts, since we have T-shirts at Carousel of Products, which you should check
It's
out,
fine.
carouselofproducts.com.
The guys don't watch the show. It's fine.
But the real reason I really want to share this Instagram is because she makes obviously T-shirts, and they're really cute, but also apparently at some point in time Adam Driver wore one of her shirts.
No.
And how
What?
just how do you make that
How
happen?
did that happen?
I mean,
like,
to be
I was
fair,
scrolling
Jill,
through this
shameless
account.
plug.
I
But
know,
Neil
but
Patrick
like,
Harris did order one of our shirts and posted it on
that is
Twitter.
very true. That is very true. But I
Did he
wanna know how
really?
you get Adam
Yeah.
Driver to wear your T-shirt. That is
He
all.
was probably
Oh, she
scrolling
may have just
Instagram,
sent it to
and
him.
this means
Yeah.
that he's a Disney fan.
How did she
Yeah, I
get
told
Adam
you,
Driver's address?
Instagram makes you
It was
buy
probably
things.
the same way that Neil Patrick, like ours, like he probably, I mean, I would imagine, because he's been in the franchise, like he might follow Star Wars things, and the Instagram hashtags got him, and he found the shirt and ordered it. But that's
Well, and
really
it's
cool.
ads.
Good for her.
It's the ads on Instagram too. So like that's what I fought for. Is I'll be scrolling just trying to look to see what people are up to. And then I'm like, oh, learn more. Click here, and it's only $15. And I'm like, okay, why did I do that? Why I don't need that. I do that every time. Like if I'm sitting in my car, because the way things are now at the ice rinks, if I have like a break in between lessons for a half an hour, I'll sit in my car because I can't sit in the rink. I mean, we're only supposed to be in there when we're supposed to be in there. So I'll scroll through my Instagram, and then I wind up buying things. So I try not to do that. I wish there was a way to turn ads off on Instagram, because I don't go on it because I don't want to buy things, and that I should be able to control that.
Well, and that's the
I
interesting
follow
part.
so many. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, that's how, like, Instagram is free for the average person to use. So that's how Instagram makes money, is all of those. Like, I guess if we didn't have those, we wouldn't have Instagram, you know? That's my only
but they have got me. Like, they have me, like, a box around me with stars going, this lady buys everything that she's shown on Instagram. And then she goes away and won't come back for 3 weeks. So show her everything at once, because I will get one ad after another, more than I get feed. And I'm like, I have to buy something.
That's a little strange. Yeah.
It is. Well, they have me pay. They're like, if we show her 5 ads, she's going to buy at least one of those 5 things, and then she won't scroll anymore. So they put it right at the top. The algorithm figured me out.
So yeah, so in the last couple minutes that we have before we have to kick it over to the guys, what about TikTok? What about TikTok? What are everybody? Because for me, it's a huge time suck. Like I'll post and dabble in posting on Instagram. I don't post anything on TikTok, but it is the biggest time suck for me of all the different accounts of people who are far more talented than I am, making these creative, hilarious videos.
I'm not that creative, and I've seen TikTok from like my little skaters that show me things on TikTok or reference things on TikTok, but I don't have it. So like they'll or their parents will show me like, oh, this is what she's talking about, because I have no idea. but I don't even have it on my phone because I feel like I'm not cool enough for TikTok.
I'm too old for TikTok. I'm only a couple years younger than you, Amy, and I am the same way where I'm just like I feel like a poser. That's not even a word that kids today use. I feel like a phony. Like I can't. Like there would be sirens going off. It's like you don't belong on TikTok. Like I will
absolutely. That's how I feel.
If somebody shares a TikTok video with me, I will watch it. Like there have been some Disney ones where Disney's actually starting to do a really good job with their TikTok account, or like somebody will send me a link like, haha, this is funny. But like, I just don't.
A lot of my skaters, like the older ones, they'll set up the phone and they'll do is this TikTok? Maybe it's not TikTok. I don't even know. They'll have like their heads turn into like ducks or penguins or something.
Yep,
and it's like a filter. It's a filter.
That's...
And then they start spinning and then somebody comes, like they have like a whole skit worked out on the ice where they're penguins. And I'm like, oh my God, what is happening right now? And I'll walk through it and they'll be like, Coach Amy, you walk through my thing. I'm like, I don't even know what's happening.
So in the vein of the TikTok sort of memes that like there's a thing and then everybody else tries to replicate that thing in their own TikTok videos. Emma shared some with us that she has made on her account. So let's.
So good.
What the heck is Disney mode? How do you get? Okay.
And they're like 10 seconds long. I don't understand it. All right, here. This is my favorite one that she made.
I don't understand it either.
People always ask, isn't it too much? But I'm like, it'll never be enough. Never. It'll never be enough. Like never ever is never enough. And it will never be enough.
All right, and we have one more. And this last one is kind of like the whole idea of the like dance meme on TikTok.
I'm mad at Disney, they tricked me, had me wishing on a shooting star. But now I'm 20-something, I still know nothing about who I am or what I'm not.
So
she's way more coordinated.
Yeah, Emma is definitely the dance queen.
She's insanely talented.
The only TikTok story I really have to share is one time I was in the hub and there was some girl trying to do one of these dances. Like she had her phone set on like a bench and was trying to like turn it on and then do the dance and then like run up and turn it off. And she completely fell on her butt in the middle of the hub because she was in the middle trying to do
That's probably a better TikTok.
I know, right? And I was like, I was laughing. It was hilarious. And I'm like, this is why I don't TikTok.
I hope she posted that because that was probably a lot of views right there.
I hope she did.
How about you, Desi? Do you TikTok at all?
No. I feel like I'm probably too old for Instagram, so I'm definitely too old for TikTok.
No, but that's the beauty of TikTok, though. It's quite literally nobody is too old. Like
I watch YouTube. That's about it. That's where I go for my videos.
I feel like YouTube is more our age demographic.
Yeah, I think that's probably true.
I don't think the kids are on YouTube.
Are really cute.
I will say I tend to have a short attention span where like I will watch a YouTube video for 30 seconds and be like, this isn't interesting enough, and I turn it off. So maybe TikTok actually is right for me because they're these like super short little video snippets. And so maybe I should actually give TikTok a try because
or maybe the YouTube videos you're watching aren't just engaging enough.
I mean, maybe.
That's probably true.
But I mean, and I feel like TikTok is like Instagram, but again, people moving and video and not just picture. Almost like the Reels, and I forget which one actually came first. But, I mean, people are doing incredible things over there. Like, there's this one chick that I follow. She randomly is very much into Harry Potter and has started, like, this whole fandom series about the Marauders. I know that's not Disney related. But there's, like, Disney people that do things like that, too. And so I don't know. I think it's really cute and really cool. I feel like I
give people
understand
credit
it more. Yeah.
I give people
I
credit
mean, again,
for doing it
I
because
can't do it, but I will support it. Although now I'm going to start Instagramming more. So I got to figure out what I'm going to start taking pictures of, I guess.
you can't do every platform, so you have to pick a couple and just stick with those.
That is true.
Yeah, I mean,
if you're going to do
Instagram's definitely the one I look at the most. So like I never go on Facebook anymore. Facebook is not, I don't know. I feel like
I do drive-bys on Facebook. I like run in, post something, and run back out before I can have anybody catch me.
My last Facebook post was probably like 2 years ago. And I used to be super into Twitter. I used to actually have like the way Desi describes her Disney Instagram experience is I had that in another fandom on Twitter back when Twitter was a lot younger and Instagram didn't exist. And I found my two best friends in the world. I both met via Twitter through fandom, but that was a long time ago, and that's not what Twitter is anymore, unfortunately. But so yeah, I feel like, and especially now that I'm in Florida, maybe Instagram is something I need to do more of as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but we are getting close to time. Yeah, and you're really good at it, Desi. Clearly,
you are. You've created converts.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna post something. I'm gonna tag you in my post too. You can do that.
I tagged you.
Right?
Yeah, I
did. You?
I tagged you in when we were on Pressing Issues together. I tagged you in that post.
Oh, I'm sorry. See how much I pay attention? This is how I miss things. See, what happens is things come up, and then I have to pick my phone up on the ice to like record a kid or text a parent, and I clear all my notifications, and then I don't see things, or I go right to bed after Pressing Issues because I'm tired and old. I'll try to pay attention. Well, if I don't, I'm not ignoring you. If I don't respond, I'm not ignoring you. Just keep bugging me. I will eventually respond. Promise.
You'll all get tagged tomorrow.
Excellent. You're going to totally up our stock on Instagram because now we've been tagged by Desi. Fantastic. All right. Well, with that, I think we need to wrap up because Outside the Bubble starts in 2 minutes. So I want to thank my fantastic panel of ladies here. Thank you, Ashley, my co-host. Thank you, Amy and Desi. This has been a great conversation, and I feel like I've learned a ton, and now I'm super excited to go do more Instagram.
Ditto.
Well, now you're in Florida, so it'll be easier.
I will now have many more things to Instagram than I did in Pennsylvania, 100%. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Please stay tuned for Outside the Bubble. I'm going to stay tuned for Outside the Bubble because I love that show. And have a great night. We will see you again.
Yeah, don't forget to write us either for our next show. Not next Thursday, but the next one.
2 weeks
all
on
your
June
favorite
17th.
Drinks, lounges, all that good stuff.
Ink and paint at WDWNT.com. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Night.
Bye.